Okay, so let's talk then about Premonition. As I said, should we read anything into the title, by the way? I mean, I know there's a song on the album called Premonition, but are you kind of feeling some kind of premonition about something?
Well, to be honest, premonition to me is a sign of something good. Usually a premonition is something bad, but to me I feel nothing but good about what I've done since we started the album.
In what period of time did you write this? There are 9 songs on the album, I believe.
Yes.
In what period of time did you write the songs on Premonition? Do they go back several years? Did you write them just before the album was made? Are they brand new or what?
Okay. Premonition and Lying were the 2 songs that are the oldest. And in fact, when I went to England 3 years ago, those were the only 2 songs that I had to play Tony Smith, which he said, well, they're both hits to me, which was this was the first person that I'd played them to that I respected, and we started working together after he heard those 2 songs. So then there was a period, because I was so hyped at the fact that people thought that what I was doing, it gave me an incredible sense of security, which hadn't been there up to that point, that then I actually wrote, not that all of them are on the album, but I actually wrote 6 songs in a 5-day week. I wrote 2 in one day. So I would say over a 2.5-year period, there's 25 songs that I wrote in that period and finished. There's others, obviously. It was the most productive period I'd ever had.
In the song Interview, there is, towards the end, just before the record starts to fade, there's the familiar, what I call the Frampton wah-wah vocals. The kind of thing you did in Show Me the Way and during the Frampton Comes Alive years. Did you plan to put a little of that in, or did that just kind of happen in the studio while you were recording it?
I wanted to try and update it and use it somewhere, but I didn't want, and Pete Solly and I had a big talk about this, he's the producer with me on the record, that we didn't want to harp on anything from the old days. We wanted to show something new. But therefore, when it came to this rhythmic ending part, I decided to get the talk box out again and try and flange it or something, to make it sound more updated. So thanks to the guitar synthesizer, the Roland guitar synthesizer, I managed to find a sound that I'd never got with the talk box. And it is underplayed, but for those who know, it's there and it's that familiar sound. And obviously live, that part will probably be extended. Because I just wanted to give a hint of it to let people know that I haven't thrown it away or anything.
Is there sometimes a temptation to try to rewrite songs that were tremendous hits in the past? I mean, when you're sitting and writing, is there a temptation to to rewrite, Baby I Love Your Way or something?
There were a couple of years there where I would have done anything to rewrite Baby I Love Your Way or Show Me the Way, or even Do You Feel? But it's like, I tell you what really made me feel good was when I got the song Lying down, which I wrote. If I turned round now, I'd be in the same position as I wrote it. To me, it was a Frampton type song. It was. I know when something is uniquely sounds like myself. It was something that I could have written many years ago, but it had, because I wrote it on synthesizer, it had a very 80s contemporary sound to it, and I just sort of shouted for joy that this song to me meant a lot. It was like we started again. And then every song that I wrote after that I wasn't trying to rewrite the 70s. I was trying to compete with Lying, which was a new standard for me. It was something totally different, but you can still say it's a Frampton song.
Most of the songs on Premonition seem to be perfect for concert pieces. They all seem to be able to just take off. So the obvious question is, how extensive a tour is there going to be, or does one wait to see how the record is received before those plans are made? But it sure does seem like the material on the album could be some hell of a show.
Well, I think so too. It wasn't planned in any way like that. I mean, I don't write thinking about how it's going to be on stage. I usually adapt a number for stage. You don't know that until you actually get in front of an audience and see some things will work on record, and live you might need more of that or whatever. It's great to find that out when you go in front of an audience. But we do have plans to tour.
If the album happens in a really big way, my premonition is, by the way, that it will, and I'm sure that you would love to see that happen. But my question is, a really big album might demand a really big tour.
Yes.
Would you kind of structure that tour, or the way you conduct yourself on and off the stage in that tour, differently to make sure that what happened the last time doesn't happen again?
Absolutely. The idea of touring would be, no matter how big the album becomes, hopefully large, that I would get back to doing theatres. I'm sure it will be lovely to do a couple of big shows, but I love playing to, it doesn't matter how many people. I think it would be nice to play to smaller crowds, no matter how big it gets.
Do you think that it's possible to have a hit record without a video anymore?
It would. To put it honestly, I wouldn't want to try these days, but yes, I think so. I think that the best for me, the first one I have done, which is for Lying, is a live in a surreal studio atmosphere. That's the way that I think I would like people to see me, first of all. I'm not saying that we won't get into a slight conceptual idea for another one, but I think I like watching live videos myself, because it's what I feel I do best, and I think it's very honest.
Some artists do their best work when their personal life's just crumbling about them. We could give a big list here.
Right.
People whose best stuff came out when they were going through divorces, when there was death in their families, when they were broke, when they were drinking, whatever. Others do their best work when their personal life becomes serene and stable and secure. How about you?
I think that I have had a history of writing, let's say the Frampton's Camel album, for instance, which is lyrically a very, very sad album. But I think a lot of good songs came out of it. I'm not the sort of person that waits until I feel sad to write a song, obviously. But my life, my personal life, was together, and then we had Jade, our baby. But obviously, because of things that were going on around us, we didn't know when a record was coming out. Things were pretty trying, obviously. So I would say that I wrote just with this incredible feeling of things wanting to happen, even if things weren't terrifically good. But obviously when Jade was born, that is a higher point than in any of my gigs or records or anything, having a child. Which totally, if there was any more to calm down in me, that calmed me down. And I think made me grow up an incredible amount. And I think this sort of shows in the album, because it's a very confident, I feel it's a very confident, exudes confidence, and maybe slightly more mature, even though that one's not supposed to be mature to do rock and roll.
Okay, Peter Frampton, thank you very much.
My pleasure.